Russia invaded Ukraine. They say Russia is the aggressor. But working here in the Lugansk Republic for weeks, we found many things that tell a different story. One discovery was made at a former base of the notorious Aidar battalion. It appeared in 2014 as an armed volunteer group that fought on Kiev's side, but slowly fell out of its control. Too many weapons, money, and impunity did their job. Now it's part of Ukraine's ground forces, though its roots have a sinister foreign influence. This is what was found, among other things, here at the Aidar battalion base, a very interesting piece of literature titled Tutorial for Participants of Russian-Ukrainian War. It was published in 2021. Ukraine's Defense Ministry is among publishers, but here we see something more interesting. National Endowment for Democracy, America's non-governmental organization, allegedly affiliated with CIA. It actually says that it was republished last year, so apparently there was previous version of this book. There are multiple chilling facts about this statement from last year. If the title Russian-Ukrainian War refers to the 8-year bombing of Donbas, it chooses to ignore that the conflict was not Russian-Ukrainian, but Ukrainian-Ukrainian, with the east of the country being shelled by its own government in Kiev. And if the title hints at knowledge of an upcoming war with Russia, which would conventionally break out a year later in February 2022, this raises even more disturbing questions about Washington's role in fomenting the current conflict. Then there is the central role played in it by the infamous CIA offshoot, the National Endowment for Democracy, or NED.
Instead of having just the CIA going around behind the scenes and trying to manipulate the process secretly by inserting money here and instructions there and so forth, they have now a sidekick, which is this National Endowment for Democracy.
A lot of what we do today was done covertly 25 years ago by the CIA.
We should not have to do this kind of work covertly. It would be terrible for democratic groups around the world to be seen as subsidized by the CIA. We saw that in the 60s, and that's why it has been discontinued. We have not had the capability of doing this, and that's why the endowment was created.
It seems that whenever the CIA couldn't but wanted to manipulate the process, the NED has been there to help for the last 4 decades.
What finally drew public attention to Ned's meddling in foreign elections was an aborted attempt to provide opposition candidate Violeta Chamorro with $3 million in funding for her 1989 election campaign against Nicaraguan President Daniel Ortega. In 1988, for example, the endowment had given $600,000 to organizations working to defeat Chilean leader Augusto Pinochet. Ned was involved in similar activities in 1990 in Czechoslovakia.
Meaning interfering in elections worldwide and nurturing uprisings globally.
A number of the groups and individuals directly involved in the revolts and reforms sweeping the region received training and financing from groups like the International Republican Institute, the National Democratic Institute, and Freedom House. They were created by Congress and are financed through the National Endowment for Democracy.
Training and financing, financing and training. Yahoo News has made a series of reports quoting former U.S. intelligence officials revealing the CIA's secret training initiative for Ukrainian Special Operations Forces that began, attention, in 2015. As part of it, CIA paramilitaries had even secretly traveled to eastern Ukraine to assist forces loyal to Kiev in their fight against the Donbas.
The CIA operatives taught their Ukrainian counterparts the best skills for irregular warfare. We tried to really focus on operational planning, then really hard military skills like long-range marksmanship, not just the capacity to do it, but to know how to do it on a battlefield.
There are many videos that appear to show Aidar members being trained by instructors from NATO countries that Ukraine can hardly afford without support. And here's first-hand testimony.
The instructors came from Denmark, Canada, the UK, and the US. They taught us infantry tactics. First, we met all the participants. Then on the first day, we learned how to ambush. I spent a total of 2 years doing the training.
For years, long before Russia's operation in Donbas. And there is a part about the financing, too. This man says he was in the group's lowest caste, but his salary was far from low for the region.
Every month I received $1,000 salary. I also got a $6,000 bonus.
About that, let's go back to the book. There is a whole list of tasks that the Ukrainian military would get paid extra for, well paid, like $15,000 per brigade for accomplishing a combat mission successfully, $5,000 for destroying an airplane, or $3,000 for a destroyed armored vehicle. The question is, paid by who? Moscow says it has proof Ukraine was planning a mass military attack on the Donbas in February-March this year. Here's Ukraine's former premier.
Fateful decisions were made a day before the start of the war to exterminate the Russian-speaking population in Donbass. The Ukrainian army, under the leadership of the nationalist battalions, was preparing to start a military operation in the Donbass on February 25th.
Evidence upon evidence that Moscow's operation was to prevent Kiev's imminent vast strikes on Russian speakers in Ukraine, leading to dramatically more civilian casualties. Marie Fanoshina, RT, from the Lugansk People's Republic.
Was a simple verb, merely a part of speech used in everyday life. But it's not that simple for us, because now the everyday Ukrainians simply cannot say was without bursting into tears. This was my home. This was my friend. This was my dog. This was my car. This was my job. And this was my father. And this was my daughter. The millions and millions of fresh wounds are bleeding with that wounds. Russia has drowned Ukraine in tears and blood and children corpses. But there is one thing Russia doesn't get. Was is the word that describes its life. And we Ukrainians already know what will come next. We will win. And there will be new houses. There will be new cities. There will be new dreams. There will be a new story. There will be, there's no doubt. And those we've lost will be remembered. And we will sing again. And we will celebrate anew. Yes, Ukraine was beautiful. But now it will become great, great Ukraine.